You are listening to We Saw the Devil, an investigative and conversational true crime podcast that deep dives into fascinating criminal cases that are solved, unsolved, or ongoing. From America's Lori Vallow to Germany's Armin Meiwes, we examine and discuss the world's most shocking cases. If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to follow us online. Check us out at WeSawTheDevil.com and We Saw the Devil on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And don't forget, you can become part of the show by backing us on Patreon. Hello everyone, you are listening to We Saw the Devil, and we are here with a breaking news update in the Lori Vallow case. This is Robin.
And I'm Brittany.
That's Brittany.
I hate this. Make it stop.
And guys, today is a day that we have all been waiting for months now. Like the anticipation was killing me.
Oh my gosh. I was seriously like on the edge of my seat watching that little state seal, just like, okay, any second, we're going to see the judge. We're going to see the judge. I gasped out loud for no reason by myself as soon as the feed came through on my screen.
No, same. And for those of you who have been following the case, today was Chad's arraignment. And the purpose of the arraignment is to basically go over the charges and then a plea is entered. As everyone knows, Brittany and I have the absolute best track record of all time when it comes to betting.
Gosh. I won though. I won this time.
She did.
So the bet was guilty or not guilty. And I went not guilty because I think Chad's prideful and I think he's going to try fighting this as much as he can. And Robin went guilty.
I did, guys. I thought for sure that knowing what's stacked against him, Chad would try to avoid the death penalty, try to avoid lethal injection by just going ahead and pleading guilty. I lost. I now owe Brittany a cup of coffee.
And this is the spoiler alert. I want a vat of coffee. Like, I just want like a giant gallon of it.
I can make that happen with like 12 ventis.
Perfect.
But yeah, perfect. It was crazy. So the arraignment got off late. We were all sitting here waiting, leading to further speculation that Chad was in the back making a deal. Finally, it happened. So to set the stage, behind Chad were 3 of his children.
That's right. And not just that, but like the importance of them sitting behind him, indicating they could have sat behind Rob Wood, but they're sitting behind him in support of Chad. If they were in the support of, I guess, their mom or the kids or anything, they would have been sitting behind Rob Wood.
Mm-hmm. And I wanted to cry as Judge Boyce was reading the charges against Chad and Tammy Daybell's name came out. Obviously, I think all of us looked at his kids behind him, like any reaction. Obviously, we couldn't see any. They were wearing masks, but so heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was just so sad. And, you know, I think the other thing, too, to point out, we also, behind Rob Wood, had Kay Woodcock, Colby Ryan, Natalie Pulowski as well. So that's pretty significant. They came all that way, again, to support the case.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I have to, again, reiterate, I've been saying this since the very beginning of this. Natalie Pulowski is a badass bitch. Like, I love her. She went for it. And I really appreciate her. So it was cool actually seeing a photograph of her finally.
I believe the last time we saw her, like news-wise, was about a year ago this time when she was sitting, she was outside of Chad's house with the Woodcocks and she was comforting them. She was giving hugs to them, just basically saying that she was there. And it was so cool because I don't think very many of us realized that they had formed a friendship throughout all of this. And it's still such a terrible silver lining in all of it, but it's great to see that they're finding support in each other.
It really is. And I think that the Woodcocks have made lifetime friends. Unfortunately, like you said, this is a really gross silver lining to all of this, but it has brought a lot of people together. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for Chad's children. And, you know, honestly, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. I actually find the comments about Emma specifically and all of the feeds and whatnot related to this case absolutely vile and disgusting. Again,
really?
Yeah, I do. I absolutely do. Because none of us can fathom what it's like for our father to murder our mother and then add in, you know, religion and your father's cult and like the spiritual teachings and whatnot. I don't know. I just feel like everyone kind of unfairly, potentially. I mean, watch me get like kicked in the face for thinking this. She's really a shitbag. I don't know. But
Probably.
the children have not been able to grieve either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, the timeline feels like forever ago, right? Tammy passed away at the end of 2019. And not too long after that, the FBI served Chad a search warrant. They searched the house. And that's where you start seeing the kids kind of rally around him and go, I can't believe this, blah, blah, blah. 6 months later, they're in the backyard. And then a couple months after that, we've got charges, we've got more things happening. And now they finally have decided to charge Chad with the death of his wife. They haven't really had more than 2 months where something hasn't happened in this case that impacted them specifically. And we don't even know the behind the scenes of the calls of prosecutors trying to get them to talk, trying to get them to give a little bit more testimony. I mean, they haven't had a chance to breathe, process, nothing. And I actually really do feel bad for them in that regard.
No, same. And I would like to point everyone to the Reddit post that Emma wrote when she took to Reddit in a grief support group to be like, my mom's body is being exhumed or was exhumed. They didn't tell us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, she was not okay. And so I think that we all need to realize too that we don't know how we would act in their shoes. And furthermore, yes, a lot of people were giving them slack that they were seated behind Chad today. But even in some of the biggest like serial killer trials and whatnot, their family still sits behind them just as a show of support, you know? So like, I don't think necessarily people should be reading in terribly far to Chad's children sitting behind him.
Okay, fair enough. I'm wrong. Thank you.
Smack that. No. No. So, like I said earlier, the purpose of this arraignment was to go over the charges and enter a plea. So he had 3 options. He could plead not guilty, which means that he would have a jury trial and a pretrial conference, and he would maintain all of his constitutional rights. Second option would be no plea at all. And then in that case, the court would just enter one of not guilty for you anyway. You are going to eat your peas. Take it. And then the third option is guilty to any or all of the charges. So if he had pled guilty, he would have waived the right to the 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments. There would have been no trial and no presumption of innocence. That would have gone out the window.
Right. So a lot on the line. And as for the charges, so the audio was kind of weird with John Pryor. He kept standing up though, which I thought was like really precious. But his audio never came through. And so we really only heard him verbalize the one not guilty. And at that point, I was immediately just shit talking like, yes, coffee time. I won. But we have all these others, and that's where we could just assume, okay, they're going not guilty on these. So to recap, the first charge was conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and grand theft, and that's for Tylee. And then you have her first-degree murder charge as well. And then repeat that same thing for JJ, where you have conspiracy, grand theft, and first-degree murder for JJ. So then the 5th charge was the conspiracy to commit first-degree murder for Tammy Daybell. So we have the conspiracy aspect and then the charge of it as well. The 7th one for Chad would be his insurance fraud related to the death of Tammy, where he upped that policy specifically because he knew he would also be murdering her later. And then the final charge that they pled not guilty on was the secondary insurance policy that was taken out as well. Not guilty on all of it. So we get to basically expect to have a full trial going through each of those 8 charges specifically for Chad Daybell.
I was screaming. I was literally screaming. I could not believe it. Logic escapes me behind this. All of the evidence they have. I mean, we've already discussed this, in our previous episode that also came out this morning. Brittany and I had a very, very, very long chat about this case. So that episode dropped early this morning. So check that out if you haven't. But yeah, I am shocked. I am shooketh.
I'm shooketh. Oh my God. So the next hearing, Robin, when are we going to have, what's the next hearing going to look like? What's going to be discussed?
Okay, so there is going to be another hearing, the next step to Chad's case. There will be a hearing in 2 weeks. Now, Chad was originally read the charges from the indictment, I believe on May 26th. Please correct me if I'm wrong. The grand jury concluded on the 25th and came back with them. So his 60-day clock started on the 26th when he was read those charges. Basically, he entered his plea today, his pleas of not guilty. So the prosecution and Rob Wood has that 60 days. So 60-day clock countdown started on the 26th to announce whether or not they're going to be seeking death or life. It is possible, though, that could be announced in 2 weeks, guys. Not guaranteed, not mandatory, but it is possible.
Right. They don't have to wait 60 days to announce it. So the next hearing is going to be on June 23rd. That's for Chad. And that's just going to be a scheduling hearing. So at that one, we might hear about the death penalty. We might not. They have that full time period if they want to use it. Not to be confused with our other very important countdown, guys. Lifetime movie presents.
Lifetime movie. God.
It is Christmas. It's like Daybell God smiled down on me and said, yes, we get the trial. We get a Lifetime movie. You get to eat potatoes for a whole week just celebrating this. I'm a fan.
I know you are. And you're like our own built-in verbal advent calendar for this Lifetime movie because you keep bringing it up like hour by hour, minute by minute of how excited you are. And our patrons this morning were listening to the episode we've just put out and they are so excited. Everyone wants to do a group watch of this somehow. So we are going to figure out how to do that and have a party.
Yeah, we'll definitely be doing this, like 100%. It's my full-time job to make sure this is possible.
I think I may do some sort of dish competition where everyone makes a potato dish and then like you and I award an award, like or gift card or something to like the best, most innovative one.
Let's set those parameters really quick. Do we want most creative or most delicious? Or should we just come up with our own categories?
Maybe we should come up with our own categories. I think that something should definitely be tied in directly to Chad himself. Maybe a mashed potato sculpture. I don't know. You know? Get creative
I'm
with
in.
it. So it's pretty clear that Brittany this is the only thing in life that she has to hold on to, guys.
All I have. It got me through the pandemic. I'm not even kidding you guys. This is that one thing. And hand sanitizer. But then this.
Equally important.
Yeah.
Okay, so another really funny piece of news. I'm sorry, I find it hilarious. But so there was an order today. The order of commitment regarding Lori Vallow's mental state came out. So the court did in fact find that she, quote, lacks fitness to proceed, but also is, quote, not dangerously mentally ill. So all of her current case proceedings, everything related to her case has been currently suspended, and she has been committed to custody of the director of the Idaho Department of Health for treatment at whatever facility they decide to throw her into, not exceeding 90 days. So again, remember a previous episode I did, basically Idaho is going to try to throw meds at her, therapy, whatever else, and get her, quote, fit to stand trial. And they'll circle back at the end of the 90 days, see progress, and then go from there.
So basically, she's currently considered incapable of assisting the defense, but she's not going to hurt herself. She's just gross.
As opposed to dangerous.
Yeah. Oh. Like, ugh. Rob Wood's like, okay, yeah, get her out. Like, I'm good. Yeah.
I can completely picture him doing that, actually.
Ugh.
And then the final piece of information is really interesting. I did not expect this one. This one came out of left field today, is Mark Means coming out of the blue to basically show cause as to why Melanie Gibb, remember, the prosecution's key witness, should not be held in contempt for not complying with the subpoena that she was served with. We've joked consistently on this show about how she was slammed with subpoenas, how she has hit the subpoena tree, like every branch on the way down. She has been rolled over the subpoena bus. Like, she got it really bad. And she's like, nope, I'm just going to ignore this.
I think that her exact quote that Mark Means actually put in his motion was, I'm calling Rob Wood about this.
Yes, he did.
So that's her defense. Now, this is my conundrum, okay? I don't think it comes as a surprise, guys. I really hate Melanie Gibb. Like, if there's one thing in this world I cannot stand, it's that woman. And
I thought it was me.
I also... No, unfortunately. But I also really find Mark Means hilariously incapable of everything. And so to have him come out and be like actually putting something together that I really enjoy, it's hard because I really want to laugh at him, but I can't this time because that's actually pretty valid. And I like that Melanie Gibb can't hide from this. So
But yeah, it's strongly worded. The next to last paragraph says the defense believes that Mrs. Gibb has possibly evaded criminal prosecution regarding incidents relevant to the above cases, has engaged in inappropriate private communications, including phone calls, emails, and text messages with the above said prosecution, and has made multiple conflicting statements regarding her personal knowledge, actions, inactions in regard to the above cases, and compliance with the subpoena is the initial first step to address these concerns. He's just like, bam. So
he's like, we want those logins. We didn't forget.
Yeah. I hope he can hold her to it because, I mean, Melanie just has everything. Melanie is, in fact, the key to this. I mean, everyone talks about, Zulema may have the deal, but everyone, I don't know. Melanie was in the thick of it.
One thing I want to throw out there, too, is East Idaho News, and I guess in general, the lawyers on this case, the court system itself, there's been 2 instances so far where they have published something or put it out there and they forgot to redact or block out certain pieces that aren't supposed to be made public. If any of you out there want some extra credit, I guess keep an eye out, because if Melanie Gibb's logins get out there, I'll put real money on the table for that. I would personally love to look through stuff myself.
Is that it? That's everything.
I think that's it. I mean, that's a lot, but that is it now. Yeah.
Oh, I would like to say one other thing. So I actually, for a lot of our legal stuff, I actually do consult with a retired criminal defense attorney. And he did let me know that in the eyes of the law, since Chad did plead not guilty in a case of this magnitude, basically what that's telling the prosecution and the judge more or less is that he has no remorse for what he's done. He's lying. Okay. So already that's going to not reflect well to the prosecution. So Brittany, I think you're right. I'm conceding to you right now. I think that they're going to seek death.
Okay. Well, since you said you consulted with a retired criminal defense attorney, I want you to know that I actually consulted with Julie Rose Angels, and she said that prosecution's going to get hit with a death of plague. So I think we still have some options here.
You'll have to pass along those code numbers that she provided.
Currently doing hand signals now for you.
Thank you. I feel that. My angels will talk to your angels and they'll consult.
We'll conference in 15. It'll be good.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. This is a crazy, crazy day in the Lori Vallow case. I mean, this just keeps continuing to surprise me. I don't know about you, Brittany.
Constant state of shock.
Until next crime, guys.